things about those peoples, the Anangu, and then I want to tell you one of my experiences.
Well, I love that their creation story is they came from the 7 sisters. And not only is that their creation story, they have a 3,000-mile songline that goes across the desert telling the story of their creation from the 7 sisters. And when Lee and I were fortunate enough to be in Uluru, one of the places I wanted to go was a place called Cave Hill, because I had seen the artwork that is on the ceiling of the roof of the cave. And what intrigued me the most was that this cave is said by the Anangu culture to be the original landing place of the Pleiadians. I mean, didn't you get chills when I told you that there's a cave that has the original landing of the Pleiadians as part of their culture?
And you told me at that time that we had to have permission from it. We had to have an elder take us. Sometimes the elders don't even show up.
It's their land, and you have to go with their permission.
And we got to go.
And that was profound. And here's the thing, though. This is a culture that's the oldest living culture on the planet that claims they have been living there, living in the moment for 50,000 years. And they tell you all the details of their tradition. But they are a society that we describe as non-literate. We've only had literacy for the last couple of thousands of years. We didn't necessarily have literacy 50,000 years ago. And yet all of their history is passed down through what's called oral tradition. I didn't really think much about that until I came across this amazing book by another Australian author by the name of Lynn Kelly. She wrote a book called The Memory Code. And she's basically saying that society and culture that had orality, which is oral tradition, non-literate, the structure of their brain was completely different, because the information they would receive is creating memory palaces within their brain, recorded through song, dance, memory aids, memory landscapes. And basically she was saying, once we were Google, we would have encyclopedic knowledge within the structure of our brain that you recall through dance, song, chants, memory aids. And one of the things that impressed me in her book, because she researched this all around the planet, many, many cultures. She got sparked by the Aboriginal Indigenous culture in Australia, but she found the same common principle around the world. And one of the things she relates in her book is about the North American Navajos, and how researchers were able to sit down with them, and the Navajo were able to give them 700 insect species. I mean, Lee, can you imagine 700 insect species? I don't know any entomologist that can rattle off the top of their head 700 insect species, their habitats, where they live, and all of that is done and presented through dance and myth and sand paintings and stories like that. And sorry.
I just say I relate to that. I didn't understand it at first. I relate to it when you think about how many of you remember, especially Americans I'm talking to, how many remember the ABC song that you learned as a child for your letters? And the answer is you'll remember it probably to your last breath, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of these. And what are your favorite songs? And do you remember the lyrics of them? And the answer is, yeah, you really do, because they're important to you. This is the crux of it, that the brain and the mapping of the brain goes there and remembers it a whole lot more than anything that you'd read in a book.
And I'm just having a little intuition come in that these Healing Wednesdays, we're offering them every Wednesday for at least a year. That's the promise from Kryon and you.
Yes.
And it's going to be a similar process every time. And I just feel that there is something in that structure that will go into our cells in a very deep and ancient way of what the Indigenous have been using for years.
I agree.
Yeah.
I want to do more, but I'm going to do it later.
Okay.
Because I want time for it, and I'm
Yes.
realizing that we're almost getting to the time of the channel now. I'll give a little preview.
Yeah.
When we were there, we had an amazing experience with the Indigenous. The Aborigine usually, and this is, I'm not telling anything out of source, are apart from the whites. They don't really have that much to do with them, and so you don't usually get close. And we did, and it was an astonishing thing. They even felt Kryon. So this is what I want to tell. In one of these times we're together.
Yeah. And when you say apart, it's
Yeah.
just their deep spiritual truths. I
Yes.
think that's what you mean, because
Yeah.
there has been a lot more recognition now, thank goodness,
Yes.
of including Indigenous in welcome to country ceremonies and things like that. So that process has started. Yeah.
I just love the fact that we got to know them.
Yeah.
This is my dream, to sit in front of a wise Indigenous person
Yes.
who trusts us
How blessed.
enough to say, here's how it works.
Yeah.
And we've had that with some shamans in the
Yeah.
past, and we'll
Yeah.
get to those stories as well. All right, I think it's time right now to get to the channeling.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask Monica to give us that, and it gives me a chance to take off my watch and my glasses, which I always do before we channel.
Great. So make yourself comfortable wherever you are sitting and tuning in to watching this happen now or listening. Allow your body to relax. Relax your head, relax your shoulders, relax your arms and your hands. Relax your chest, relax your back. Relax your abdomen, your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your feet. And feel the energy of the earth connecting up through your feet, up through your calves, your knees, your thighs, your abdomen, your chest, your back, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, and traveling up through your head and out the top of your head, and connecting to the universal field that surrounds you and is biased in love. And from this place, let us give permission and a willingness to take the hand of Kryon as we hear the message to be delivered.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Blessed is the human being who sees themselves as we do on the other side of the veil as worthy of hearing truth, of worthy of having that which has always been possible for them. Blessed is the human being who sees the magnificence of their soul as created by that which you would call God. The creative source has many names, many cultures. Sometimes the word God is not the one you want to use only because of the stigma of what you've been told about the word. It's not necessary. God has so many names, one of them being God. Some of them so precious to some, they don't even pronounce it. That creative source is seen by so many as the perfect love source of the universe, creator of all things. The most beautiful thing of that creator is that which is you. On this planet, you play the prime role. We have told you for so long that because of this, the indigenous wisdom tells you to ally with that which is nature, with that which has the name Gaia. That's just one of many things you have been told. There are so many hidden things because of your culture, things that your culture has not brought forward from the past, things that your culture does not believe, that you haven't been taught, and yet they are the staple of those who've lived on this planet for so long. So part of this, the channeling, the healing, all that is being taught, is trying to connect you again, not to what you've lost, but what you simply haven't been told. It's there, dear ones. All of it is there. I want to talk yet again to this group who is listening, who may never have heard this. Do you know what innate is? If I said something about that which is your innate, would you know what I was speaking of? I wish to speak about something in your body that is a key player, if you want to use that word, in the healing circle of 12. Something that if you don't know about it, now you will, and you may even scratch your head if you haven't heard this before. There are so many who understand, who know what innate is. But now I want to tell you. There is an intelligence in your cellular structure that is not necessarily represented in your brain. Your brain is the master computer and rememberer. It has a part of your consciousness, but not all. Your consciousness is really part of a triad between your pineal, representing the soul connection, your heart, and your brain. But your brain is not all that is. And even though it controls so much of what your body does, there is something called innate. And that innate is smarter than you are. It knows a lot more about what's going on in the body than you do. Now, for years, you might have heard about certain kinds of processes that use innate, but probably didn't understand that they were doing that very thing. One is called kinesiology. Kinesiology has another name, muscle testing. Muscle testing and kinesiology is used even into science and even in mainstream doctors. It is something that is absolutely understood and known works. Why it works, perhaps not as well, but it works. Muscle testing will be sometimes used in order to test what your body wants in the number of doses of a medicine or a supplement. And that muscle testing will ask yes or no, yes or no. Is the body ready for this? Innate is responsible for one of the greatest healing modalities that exists on the planet, homeopathy. How can you take a tincture, which is a healing signal that is so small it is measured in parts per million, too small to have any kind of a chemical reaction from the body? You put it in your mouth, under your tongue, and the body then performs what the tincture is for. Homeopathy has been used for centuries, and it works. In certain countries, when you go into a store to buy remedies, they will not sell you anything but homeopathy because they know of the power of a signal under your tongue that your brain sees. That is innate, dear ones. Innate isn't simply responsible for these kinds of things. It goes further and further. Innate also corresponds with consciousness. Here's where I'm going that you should know. Have you heard of affirmations? And have you wondered why they might work? Someone says, I am healed. I am complete. I am pure. And that someone who is saying it may be lying in a sickbed. And you'll go, how odd that they would have a dichotomous statement when they're ill, stating that they are well. This is where innate starts to kick in, meaning starts to work. because there is a consciousness part of the innate that hears what you say, because you are the boss. The consciousness of your body is you. You are the boss of your cells. And when you state certain kinds of things, innate hears it, and just like the homeopathy, starts to implement the very things you are saying. Did you hear that? This is how powerful your consciousness is, as it starts a process that's always been there. We've also told you the opposite, that if you decide to tell your body it's worthless, your innate will kick in. In other words, it'll start a process of dis-ease, of unhealthy. If you're worthless, you don't even belong to be here. That is what you're telling your body. That is why we have always said, be careful what you say, because innate, the smart body, is listening. And when it hears the boss make statements, it does its best to implement. Just like if you had some tincture under your tongue that said, get sick, it would. That's how powerful all of this is, dear ones. It's called innate. My partner has talked about hypochondriacs and had a friend, he says, even from high school, who was afraid that he would catch everything and that he would die of cancer. All through his life, he was sick. And all through his life, my partner heard him say, well, I have this and I have that, and I'm not going to live long. And he didn't. All through his life, he told his body what he was afraid of, and the body took care of it all. He caught everything he was afraid of and died of cancer. This is because he was programming himself for dysfunction. It goes both ways, dear ones. How about programming yourself for magnificence? In this healing circle, this circle of 12, innate is critical. Because as you start these visions that I have given you and that I will guide you through, and that some of you have been through with me in the premiere, as you start these visions, your smart body, your innate, will say, this is real. This is what the consciousness is going toward. Look, here's where we are. Here, look what's happening. Look, there's feet being washed. Look, there's healings going on. Look at the affirmation. And listening for what your consciousness has to say, who you are, and what's going to happen next. Your innate, dear ones, is part of this healing process. They call it the smart body for a reason, for a very good reason. It's smarter than you are. And sometimes, dear ones, it will even go around who you...
Yeah. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, Dee. Well, it's time to begin to do what we call miracle moments. Now, this is indeed one of my favorite sections of the program, and I know Monica's as well. You can find the Miracle Moments section of your membership portal. It's in there, in your membership portal. That's where you can request prayers of help and benevolence for yourself and also someone you love. It's also a place where you can share your miracle with us. We truly love hearing about all the miracles that happen. There's so many kinds of miracles that happen as well. Physical healing of the body is not the only kind of miracle. Sometimes it's a healing of the heart. A lot of times it's a healing of the heart, or simply the discovery of things that would enhance your own magnificence. All miracles are worth celebrating. And so I'd like to ask Monica to share a miracle moment which happened to one of our Circle of 12 members.
So this miracle comes from Joy, and Joy says, today I experienced unbalance in my relationship with my partner, who is not aligned with the Kryon work and actively avoids listening to Healing Wednesday. I'm sure, Joy, that you are not alone. So I hope everyone takes inspiration from what you're sharing with us. So Joy continues and says, I made a statement without any anger of any kind while completing an everyday task. My partner became angry and said I had a tone. He continued in an angry outburst. In this moment, I felt unbalanced and I remembered the answer from Kryon about anger. I responded without anger, but my response was not heard. I realized this was not about me. This was not my issue. I consciously chose to re-listen to Kryon channelings. I experienced a healing. I became calm in a safe place. I lit a candle and remembered that I am the lighthouse. In order to focus on the candlelight, I turned the light off in the room. It was dark and I received another gift. There was a beautiful full moon shining across the lake from my window. In that moment, my perspective changed and I felt loved and blessed. I sent love and compassion to my partner and I placed him on the healing list, and I am sending love to him every day and to all of the Circle of 12 members and more. At 11:11 every day, I send healing comfort to all those I have harmed in any way in all directions of time. This is my healing and my miracle moment. Joy, you are such an inspiration. Thank you for being the beautiful lighthouse you are. And I love the example of you sending healing energy and comfort to anyone you've harmed in any timeline. So beautiful. So let's send let's send an energy of the entity Kryon to Joy's husband. I love the thought of that kind of being clandestinely sending him a love missile because he actively avoids Healing Wednesday. Well, guess what? You can't actively avoid our love because it's coming right to you right now. So, and any other partner, by the way, who actively avoids Healing Wednesday and actively avoids Kryon and love, you can't help it. We're sending it anyway. So here's what I'd like to do. Set the intention that we are going to send a love missile to anyone who is actively avoiding trying to have anything to do with the message of the Creator. So I invite you to close your eyes and just focus on the energy of your heart. And there is such capacity within your heart to generate the feelings and emotions of love, compassion, kindness, and benevolence. And as we focus on generating this feeling of love, compassion, and kindness, let us send a love missile to all of those who are holding the Creator behind a filter. And so this love missile, the intention of the love missile is simply to dissolve any filters that may be in place for those who are resisting the broadcast of love from the Creator. And so we're just sending love, compassion, benevolence. There is zero judgment in this. The filters, we all have them at some level. So we're just sending that energy to dissolve any filter that exists that stops the receiving of the love from the Creator. Beautiful. And so now we turn our attention and focus to those who are requesting prayers of help and benevolence. And while our focus is placed on this group, again, we wish to send the energy of love to dissolve any filters that may be in the way of them receiving their miracle moment. And they may be subconscious filters that we're not even aware of that exist. And it doesn't even need to be identified, because love will disarm all energies that are not love itself. And so we continue sending wave after wave of love, specifically targeting any filters to dissolve, so that nothing remains but the love that is sent. And let us now extend that to our family of humanity. There are filters of growing up, filters of the culture we are in, filters of our gender, filters from those who taught us. So we just want to shower and send the energy of love to all of those filters, so that they may soften and dissolve, and invite the energy of allowance, the allowance to receive love and benevolence. And so let us now invite the energy of Kryon that can help us to dissolve any filters that we may have, so that we can deepen our connection with the Creator. Thank you, Kryon. We are ready.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon. Come a little closer. This is the Circle of 12. It's simply a meditation. It doesn't ask a human to change their mind about what they believe. Not really. It doesn't ask a human to do anything that was against that which they might already be willing to do. It doesn't ask them to join anything. It only asks every human to drop into their heart and consider who they are. It's a safe place. It's not even a strange place. Some would say that meditation itself, or listening to a channeler, is a strange place. And that's what they've been told. If that's you, I invite you to choose for yourself how odd this might be. Do you believe in angels? Most of humanity actually does. The idea that there could be some kind of a spiritual, influential messenger? Yes. And history is filled with the idea that angels have come down in almost every belief system, and they have touched humans in certain ways. Do you believe in a creative source, God, Spirit? If you do, in any form at all, is it too much for you to think that this God or Spirit loves you enough to give you a loving message? Perhaps you were told, well, God doesn't work that way. Is that what you believe as well, as you were told from some authority? Some authority who tells you how God works and does not work? Or are you willing, perhaps, to choose for yourself? This is not a gentleman, a man sitting in a chair on a streaming broadcast trying to sell you something. And this is what the idea is of so many in your culture. Without listening to any meditations, any circle of 12s, any channeling, their mind is made up. That's what this is about. I am trying to sell you something. I'm trying to sell you on the free choice of your own decision about who you are. This meditation takes you across an imaginary bridge, a bridge between that which you know and that which you don't know. Is that fair enough for you? Is it too spooky? Is it cult-like? Let's find out. Come with me right now. Take my hand. Let's go across this bridge. A guided meditation is simply that. I guide you into a visualization. Don't come unless you're comfortable. You cross this bridge in love. And what you expect is something good. This or something better for you. It's a safe place where no one is going to talk you into anything or make you do anything besides examine your own truth, your own magnificence. And as you cross this bridge, you enter into such a beautiful energy, which we say is you visiting your own soul. Tell me about what you have been told about your soul. Human? Do you have one or not? Almost all humanity says, yes, of course I have one, and it's somewhere off in the distance, and it's in heaven, it's on the other side of that veil. So it is there. What if you could visit it? What if you could go there and see that beauty that God provides? The love that God provides. That's where we are going. Does that bother you? Circle of 12 members, you can see I'm talking to those perhaps the first time here, or might even be doubting it. To let them know that this is a safe place of beauty and love, compassion, where no one asks anyone to do anything they might otherwise do. Go through an imaginary door with me, which is still there. After 3 years, this door takes you into another area and invites you to know that something's coming. And it's always something good that is coming. This is no exception. It's a guided meditation designed to help you love yourself. It's a guided meditation to help you feel better when it's over. It doesn't call for any action. It doesn't call for you to get up and go do something. Instead, it invites you to relax. Sit down. There's a chair here. Sit down. If you're not already sat, sit down. In the visualization, in this meditation, you take a seat and prepare to be administered to be prayed for, to have a visitor, if you wish, who is going to talk to you about how magnificent you are. It's a good thing. It's not a trick. It doesn't ask you to do anything but listen to information about yourself. Do you believe in angels? Visualize one coming in right now. Jeremiah. Jeremiah is an interesting energy in history. It's an angel of transition, you might say, of change. So here is an angel that would help you through changing times. Do you have any? Are there any for you? Anything happening in your life that is bothering you because it's a change to something that is different, and you don't know the future, perhaps, or you're a little concerned because you feel a change coming, perhaps. Well, here is an angel that will sit before you, hold your hand, and tell you about it. Is that something that you will accept? Why not? Figuratively, take the hand of this angel while it starts to talk to you. Here is a change you don't expect. Dear human being, this angel will say to you, are you aware that you can change your own chemistry, your own DNA, and that your own scientists have started to see these things? Not to the extent that I'm going to tell you, but with an idea that indeed something is happening. What if you could change your own bodily chemistry so that whatever happens next for you is peaceful, is beautiful, that it wouldn't be anxious, that you can walk right into change and not worry about it before it happens. Is this starting to relate to anything in your life? This is the purpose for tonight's Circle of 12, that you might sit there and say, I accept this message, that there is more than I understand. In the generic spirituality of anything that I've learned in my belief system, I know God is love. I know angelic realm things are real. I'm ready to accept it. And if you are, there's a lot of information that may sound odd or strange or weird only because it's science that has not appeared yet. Did you get that? So many times there are those that say, I only believe what has been proven by the scientists of my day. What if you had said that 200 years ago? There are so many things that have happened that have been proven in 200 years. And if that was you 200 years ago, you'd have been wrong. I